Welcome everybody for the Tuesday live training for attachments. We're going to go all into attachments, mainly focusing on attachments with our careers and hobbies, but looking into the mental aspect of attachment, looking into the emotional aspects of attachments, and really getting an idea of how attachments affect our lives and how they can be stopping us from hindering our fulfillment in whether it's our hobbies, whether it's our career. So it's gonna be a lot of information tonight. I'm excited. I am in the mountains right now with my family. So if you hear a little bit of ruckus, I have a really big family on my mom's side. And so I'm geared up, all of that. So it's going to be a great night and I'm excited. And so if you were just popping on, you can pop in the comments, let me know that you're here. And again, welcome to the Tuesday live trainings. We have these Tuesday live trainings every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where you get to vote on what the topics are. This topic was a little bit different because I got the guidance to really talk about attachments and attachments with your career and with your hobbies, because a lot of us right now, or most of us in 2020, are really being pushed to live the life that we're supposed to, really live out our purpose. And if we have these attachments and we're not moving forward in living our purpose, then number one, we're missing out. Number two, we are missing out on, helping other people in the world. And this video can help with the attachments associated with that, so we can get a better idea of what attachments are and why they're important and how to release the attachments. And again, if you're just hopping on, hop in the comments, let me know that you're here. And hello, Stephanie, I'm so happy you're joining for tonight. And I'm excited. So a couple of things that I want to talk to you about is, if you see the video that I posted today for intermediate and or more advanced spirit people in their spiritual path in this group, for the Lightworkers path is perfect, for example, and I've talked to you about that, from starting basically just really learning to get your guidance and all of that, and then going that full route and really learning at the end how to connect with your angels, guides, helpers, how to do wounded inner child, all of that. Well, that for the intermediate and or advanced people who don't really need all of that, I'm going to be offering, I just got the message to do this, so of course I'm always following my guidance, but I'm going to be offering something, and I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, with specifically unlocking your individual gifts, because we all work differently, and learning how to use that. So it's, again, for more intermediate and advanced people on their spiritual path, or you are guided to take it. So I'll always listen to guidance. So if one of you maybe are a little bit more a beginner, but you feel guided to look into it, that is something I'm going to be offering pretty soon, and I'm super excited because this is like one thing that really pops me up. I love the Lightworkers path, do not get me wrong, but what really pops me up is seeing you learn your own gifts, like learn how to access your own gifts, such as if you are great with or if a gift is opening up with lucid dreaming, if a gift is opening up with receiving messages by sound and how to work with that. It doesn't matter what it is, and that's what really lights me up, and I definitely see it on people's faces, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so tonight, if you have any questions, feel free to pop down in the comments box and let me know. You can type out any questions that you have. I will try to get to all the questions that I can, but if I don't see it, if it doesn't show up, then I will get to it after. So comment, and or if you're watching a replay, I do go back to the replays and check your questions. So again, if you have any questions, reach out, comment below, and if I don't get to it now, I'll definitely get to it. So again, what we're talking about tonight is attachments, specifically attachments based on what your based on fulfillment in your career and fulfillment in your hobbies. And again, I got a push from spirit or angel or spirit, God, universe, whatever you call it. I got a push to do this video on attachments because this is really hindering us and it's time to really step out the box. So again, we're going to be looking at the mental aspect and the emotional aspects, and I am thrilled to begin this with you. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about, and this is just going from, okay, what are attachments? We hear in yoga, for example, the detachment or non-attachment, right? So it's like we want to get to a place of non-attachment with people, places, things, all of that. So what attachment is that connection that we have to, it's like an attachment to or connection to ideas, people, situations, relationships, hobbies, career, thoughts, emotions. Attachments can be to any of that, right? So attachment is technically a quote unquote negative term, as in it's something that you don't really want. You don't want to be attached to something. It's almost like that idea of, if you set it free and it comes back, it's right for you. So if you're holding on to something tight, whether it's person, place, thing, relationship, career, hobby, whatever it is, if you're holding on to something tight and you don't want to let it go, that's, if it's following your heart and you're not letting it go, that's one thing. That's not attachments. But if it's more from your wounds, and I'll get more into that, that is attachment, to where we don't want to let it go because of fear. We don't want to let it go because of the different emotions. And we'll get into the emotions even more. So attachments are quote unquote something negative in a way that we don't want it, because they're not serving us. I mean, they're serving us in a way to teach us a lesson. And the lesson is, depending on what the attachment is to, but it's learning how to let go of things so that energy can flow freely. So for people, and I may get deeper into this, it's kind of depending on how I'm guided. I do tend to kind of flow with messages as I'm giving these videos. I may get into like cords and imprints, implants, things like that if I'm guided to towards the end. But that's a way in the energetic field, if you've heard about cords being, and that's like a way of an attachment, the energetic attachment to them. And I do feel like I'm going to get into cords, so that's a fun one. Okay, so yeah, attachments are that connection, whether it is to a person, place, hobby, idea. And so I'm going to go into the mental and to the emotional. So let's start with mental. So what attachments in relation to the mental, because if you have met me before, speaking of, for people who have not met me, who have not, or new to this group, to the Lightworkers Path group, my name is Lauren Egle. I'm a registered nurse, 4th level master Peruvian shaman, founder of Earth and Balance, creator of the Lightworkers Path program, and of this group where I'm giving you all this great information that you ask for. Again, except for this one, because I was guided to do this one. So hi, if I haven't met you yet, I am thrilled to have you in this group, and I love teaching and giving you all of this information, so feel free to ask questions because I'm here to answer. Okay, so let's go into the mental aspects of attachment. So I just explained, for that little tidbit of who I am, I just explained what attachments are. Again, the negative the negative idea, I guess negative, what we kind of don't want between person, place, whatever it is, the situation. The mental aspects of it. So when, say we're attached, because we're focusing on careers and hobbies, I'll go into that, and I'll give a little bit about relationships too. But when we're attached to something, a lot of times we're not even attached to what we believe we're attached to or have that attachment to. Okay? So for example, and I'll give it a relationship because, or example in a relationship, because a lot of people can understand this a little better. If we have an attachment to a relationship, say a significant other, if in a way that it's not free-flowing love, and we know that if we lost that person, that we would not survive, or we would not make it, or it would be such a drastic thing where we cannot let go of them, that is the attachment. But the biggest thing about attachments that people tend to miss is that a lot of times it's not even what you think the attachment is about. So, for example, if you're in a relationship with someone and you can't, and you know the relationship isn't serving you, let's just say, you know the relationship isn't serving you, but you can't let go of it. It's something that you just can't. It's something that you feel like you just can't change, or you feel like something like horrible, you'll lose it all if you let go of it or let go of that person. The thing that a lot of people don't know is the attachments aren't necessarily about that person. A lot of times they're the idea of the person, or the idea or belief that we have to be in a relationship because of the fear of not being in a relationship. So what I'm getting into is that a lot of times the attachments can be on a mental level, or they can be on an emotional level, or a spiritual level. I don't think I'm going to be diving that deeper into that. But we're going to be talking about the mental level. So the mental level in your mind really focuses on thoughts, right? Thoughts, ideas, programming, anything that has to do with the mind and the ego, okay? The mind is always connected to the ego. So if we're talking about the mind and we're talking about attachments, and say there is a significant other that I, for some reason, cannot let go of. Not because my heart is truly just like, if it's pure love and that person wanted to leave, you would let them go because you love them so much and it's coming from your heart. If it's attachment that where they want to leave and you cannot let them go, for example, that's necessarily not something that we want. And again, the attachment may not be on the person. So the mental aspect of the attachment would be on the thoughts about this person. Okay. So for example, you have the relationship that is no longer serving you, but you can't let go of it. What part are you stuck to? What part are you holding on to? And again, it may not be the actual person. So for example, you're in a relationship, you may be stuck on the thoughts of, what it would be like if you didn't have them. So that attachment is actually on the wounds that you have from the beliefs of being alone, right? So it's about the thoughts and beliefs in that area. And the reason why I'm getting so specific with you in attachments is because we need to know that what we think we may be attached to may not be the truth. It may be something surrounding it. So for example, with my boyfriend, James, I've had an attachment with him, but that attachment wasn't with him necessarily. I love him and that comes from my heart. But the attachment was on the idea that he would be able to take care of me monetarily. And this was a few years ago. I had this belief that I can't let him go because what would I do? Because on another level, he would take care of me monetarily if I needed it. He could support me. And so that's an attachment I had to him. So what if in that time period, he wasn't right for me? I would not have let him go because I was attached to the fact that he's supportive. I'm attached to the fact that the belief that I need somebody to support me, and therefore, even if he's not right for me, I'm not letting him go. I can't let him go. So it's the thoughts, it's the beliefs. So that's the mental aspect of it. And with James, for example, it wasn't him. It was the ideas, thoughts, and beliefs I had around him. So when we learn what our attachments are to whatever it is, then we have a better idea of breaking those attachments, releasing those attachments, and then we can see the truth of the situation, of the person, of the hobby, the career. So this is why I'm showing you that with attachments, it's not necessarily about what you think it is. If you believe you have an attachment with someone, something, or anything like that, we want to get a better idea of what we actually have that attachment to. So the mental aspect, or the thoughts, the beliefs, and the programming are that we're actually attached to, not the actual thing. And this is important, and I'll come back into why this is important. And at the end, by the way, I'm going to give you a little thing that you can do at home, you could take home from this, that you can incorporate into your life. Now, number 2, we're going to talk about the emotional part of it. When we have attachments to something, we have the emotional attachments also. So I talked about the mental, which is the thoughts, the beliefs, ideas. Those may be playing a role in whatever we believe that we cannot let go of. But it also, we may have to look at our emotions. And this is important for whenever I talk about how to release attachments at the end, okay? Or something we can do at home. So you do want the mind part of it, but you also want the emotional part of it. The emotional part of it is with what we believe we're attached to, there's emotions as to why we are, or what's causing or helping, I should say, our attachments. So for example, because we're talking about career and hobbies, and I'll get to that even deeper as we go, say if I am in a career of nursing, okay? That is what I went to school for. I am a registered nurse, but I didn't let that go for so long, okay? There's a reason I had attachments to nursing. So on the mental side of it, of my attachment to nursing, I knew I needed to get away from nursing, but I couldn't do it. On the mental side, I had the beliefs of, I need this for monetary support, because my business at the time period when I was working on this, my business wasn't going to sustain me. So that's part of the mental aspect of it. On top of that, the emotional part of it is I had a fear of what happens, fear of the unknown if I let go of nursing, okay? Fear of the unknown. And there's multiple fears that can come up. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown. And the reason why I'm bringing up nursing is because we each have maybe a hobby, or we're in a career that we may have attachments to, and they may not be serving us anymore. And the reason, again, why I'm doing this video is because the universe is pushing us to fulfill our purpose. And what could be stopping us are our careers, okay? Or not even our careers, but the beliefs, the programming, or the thoughts around our careers. So when we're talking about attachments, we actually want to look at everything surrounding it, whatever we are looking at. So say if we're looking at our careers, I'm going to bring up nursing again. I'm going to look at, I can't let go of nursing. Like I know nursing isn't right for me, okay? In my heart, I know it's not right, but I can't let it go. And that's number one, because of the belief systems that I have with it. And because growing up, for example, it's considered a really good profession, and it would look bad on my part if I gave it up. So that's a belief. An emotional side is I fear that I'm not going to, be able to sustain myself. That's a belief, and it's also a fear. So that's in a case of I already knew nursing wasn't right for me, but I had to let go of the attachment by, number one, realizing what I'm actually attached to. I wasn't attached to nursing. That was keeping me there. I was attached to those belief systems. I was attached to those, the programming that I had since I was young, that I had to do something like be a doctor or be a nurse. I was always driven to do that. So it's number one, realizing, and that's the biggest step for any healing that you do, is the realization of it. Because if it doesn't come to our conscious mind, if we don't realize it, we're not going to be able to change it, right? So with a conscious mind, with a realization of it, and then and then number two, we have the emotions of it. Okay, so there's two things working in one thing that I cannot let go of, which was nursing. So I had to, number one, release those emotions. So say fear of the unknown, I had to release fear of, financial instability whenever I was looking at that. And I had to release, release the emotions. I had to let go, and number one, realize all the thoughts and programming and beliefs there had, and let those go too. Then what happened? Well, once I was able to let go and, first of all, release those emotions, number two, release the mental aspect of it, I saw nursing clearer. It's like there was an illusion around nursing for me. I didn't see nursing as I should have because I was so cloudy with those beliefs and those emotions attached to this one thing. So, in your career or in your hobbies, in that you feel like, number one, aren't serving you anymore, or just aren't sitting right, or aren't making your heart happy, what you want to do is look at, what is it? What are the fear? What is the emotions that come up with it? What are the thoughts that come up with it? And then once you're able to release those, by number one, releasing the emotions, number two, just getting even the realization and knowing and choosing that we have to, change it. Number three is you get a clear sense of, what it is what it truly is, because you're no longer clouded by those illusions. And again, if you have any questions, because I know I'm going kind of fast, but I'm repeating myself so that you can understand it, type down below and I will answer any questions. And again, if I don't see it, I will get to it. Now, so let's look at another example. Let's look at my attachments that I had with the business, with Earth and Balance. I knew I couldn't let go of it, but it wasn't sitting right with me, okay? I knew I couldn't let go of it, but it wasn't sitting right. So you can relate this to anything that you're doing in your hobbies or in your career. Now, there's two sides to this. Number one, in your heart, you know that that hobby or that career is no longer serving you. So maybe you do have to let go of all of those attachments of why you can't let go of it, the thoughts, the beliefs, and all that, and the emotions. You do have to let go of that. But then also you may have to actually let go of that, the actual career, which you'll have a better insight of once you actually do get rid of, release all those attachments surrounding it. So say you have a better insight of it, but you still know it's not right for you, okay? So that's one part. The other part is what I'm talking about with, say, Earth and Balance. It's where you have a career or a hobby you know is right for you, but it's not sitting with you, or you can't take the steps that you need to do. There's something blocking you or something hindering you from taking the steps you need to do, to really go forward in that path. So it could be, again, you're not, something's not feeling right with it, or you can't take the steps forward. So the attachments to that is we may still have the attachments. The attachments, again, are based on beliefs. We're looking at the mind. So say my business, Earth and Balance. I had the beliefs of so attachments. I had the attachments that I couldn't let it go. It was still there, right? But I also had these beliefs surrounding it of what it had to look like. And I couldn't let go of Earth and Balance and how it looked like because I had attachments to how it looked like. So I realized Earth and Balance wasn't working for me how it was anymore. Something was off. And then as I started to journal, as I started to meditate, as I started to do the Heal Your Chakra technique to release things, more things from the subconscious, and I put out the intention of the Earth and Balance and why it wasn't feeling good anymore. So in your career, what's not feeling good anymore? What are you still holding on to? What attachments do you still have? So my attachment was that I wanted it to look a certain way, but that certain way wasn't serving me. that attachment was actually to what I believed I had to do or look like based on the past. So it's all based on our wounds. So with that being said, I finally let go. I finally, number one, realized that it's not earth and balance that's the problem. It's my idea of earth and balance, of what it has to look like. So once I let go of the emotions connected to that, I dove in, did some meditating, did some journaling, looked at the emotions, felt the emotions, released the emotions, which you can look at in the releasing emotions technique in the units tab. Once I released those emotions, once I realized, what I was so attached to, then I can make the changes and let that go. However, once you let go of those beliefs and those emotions based around whatever it is, so for me, earth and balance, my business, I was able to see earth and balance clearer, because all that fog and that smog, or whatever you want to call it, that was surrounding it, all of those illusions that I had based on the attachments that I had about earth and balance, or in your case, say you have a career and you feel like something's wrong with it. What are your attachments? Well, maybe your heart feels like the career is right, but something's not sitting well with you. What are you attached to? Is it an attachment to with your career, to the way you pursue your career? Is it an attachment to what you look like within your career? Is it an attachment to going a certain direction? Those are the attachments you want to let go of. So you can dive in again to your emotions that I talked about. You can dive into the thoughts and beliefs patterns of it. And then you can once you release those attachments, you can then see your career a lot more clearer. You'll get more insight on what it is that you need to do to go forward. You'll get, weights lifted off of you. Okay? For example, this is another example. In the Lightworkers Path program, in Earth and Balance, there's a Lightworkers Path program, and I still do Lightworkers and Path program, but I knew it wasn't my calling anymore, but I knew I had to keep it. But once I realized that it wasn't, I had an attachment to it, and I let go of those emotions, and I realized what those attachments were, and I was able to let that go. Then I saw a clearer idea of Lightworkers Path program, and now I know what to do to move forward with it. So attachments aren't necessarily something that you're like, it may not be what you think you're attached to. And when I say attachments are something that you can't let go of when something doesn't feel right, or you know it's time. So again, in your career or in your hobby, what is it that doesn't feel good? What is it that doesn't resonate with you anymore? You want to look at everything around whatever your career is or what your hobby is, to get and to see what your attachments are, whether it's the beliefs or the thoughts from your childhood, or generational, that's passed on from generation to generation, or it's it's from wounds. Once you can let those go, then you can get a better idea of what to do with that career or with that hobby, because you're clearer. You're not surrounded by all of that smog or illusions from those attachments. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if you're understanding this. I know I gave a lot of information. And again, it may not come up. So it's okay if it doesn't. I will get back to you if you do have any questions. Now, let's bring this a little bit further. We're going a little bit more advanced for the more advanced people that are a bit more advanced in their journey for whatever reason. So we're going to talk about cords. Cords are a type of attachments. Cords are what connects you to people, to situations, to things energetically, and those are the things that we learn to, in the energy world, we learn how to remove. But before you remove cords, and this is huge for everybody, in whoever is watching this, whoever does work with energy and whoever works with cords, whether the cord is connected to a person, place, thing, situation, is that we can do all the cord cutting that we want if you know how to do that. but the cord's going to come right back. Why is the cord going to come right back? It's going to come back if you have not learned your soul lesson, your soul growth opportunity. Now, what are the soul growth lessons, opportunities? Well, it depends on the person. So here's an example. Say I'm in a bad relationship, or I'm in I'll say a bad relationship, but I'm still staying in it, and I'm so stuck with this person and I can't leave them. Or I'm in a career that is not serving me anymore, yet I'm holding on to it for whatever reasons I come up with in my head. I have, for example, nursing, or for example, to a relationship in my past, I don't know. The reason why I have these cords in the energetic level is because the cord is an energy flow between that person, that situation, that thing, whatever it is. So that is a type of attachment. Now, how do we release those cords? Again, you can do all the cord cutting that you want if you know how to do that, but it's not going to be released until you learn your soul growth opportunity. And your soul growth opportunity is based on what do you need to learn on the mental level? What do you need to learn? So your thoughts, beliefs, programming, what do you need to learn with that? What do you need to learn on the emotional level? What do you need to release? What do you need to learn on the spiritual level? Well, you can cut cords. And or what does your soul need to learn with that? Or on the physical level, what actions do you need to take? So it's looking at all four things. So for people who do actually deal with cords in the energetic form, whether it's attached to a person, place, thing, it doesn't matter. Those are a type of attachments, and that is how the cords is how the energy flows in not an open channel, but rather it flows in a way that we don't want. We have to release those attachments, which can help us get out of those situations that we don't want to be in. So for example, if you have a cord with somebody in a relationship, say it's a bad relationship and you want to get out of it, and you know how to cut cords, well, you can cut cords every day until you actually work on it. Once you get the information that you need, the cord can now be cut and it won't come back. Why? Because everything will come back, because we actually need to learn and grow from it. So it's not going to go away type thing if we haven't learned our lesson, which is a good thing because it teaches us. It helps us with our soul growth. And then with the careers, actually, as I'm saying this, I still have a cord with the nursing that I haven't cut. Okay. I didn't even think about that. With our careers, or with a hobby that is not serving us anymore, we cannot cut those cords. For any energy workers in here, we cannot cut those cords unless we have learned what we need to learn about that career, or about the person. This is important too, is exactly what I said, is it may not be clear cut. So for example, clear cut, get it? I didn't even mean that. Pun not intended, but awesome, because you cut cords. Anyways, I have a lot of humor. With cords, you can cut a cord. Where was I going with this? This is important. Oh, so how I was saying with the attachments that we have may not be on that exact thing. So if you think it's a career, the attachments may be about anything surrounding that career, which can also create that cord to it. Okay, anything that's not serving you, let's just say. So again, the thoughts, the emotions, all of that, that's connected to this person, place, or thing, or career. So if we were to be working on a career or something, say that we're just like, it's not serving us anymore, or something's off with it, we want to look at, all the different things surrounding it. Once we do that, we can cut the cord, we can see clearer, we can get a better idea of which direction to go. And Megan says, "You're so punny." okay, I had to laugh at that one. That was hilarious. Thank you, Megan. All right. Thank you everybody for joining. Let's see if we're gonna go into. Okay, so importance, and I'm getting to reiterate it again, is, guys, we look at different attachments that are easiest to look at. We'll look at things that, we feel like we need to work on, but we skip the things that are most important because it can be so scary. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm getting a huge message, and this is why I'm putting this out there, that your career or hobbies, but I'm feeling more career in this. Is your career serving you? This is something you want to look at if you want to follow your heart and give your purpose, because that's how you will find fulfillment. And this is why this is about fulfillment. Because if it's not serving you, you're not having that fulfillment. And again, sometimes it may not be that you actually have to let go of that career. It could be you have to let go of all the thoughts and beliefs and programming that you have around that career. So it's okay to look at something that looks like it's not serving you anymore, because it may still be serving you. It's just the illusions that you have around it that you're holding on to, that's your attachments, that may not be serving you. And once you knock those down, you can get a clearer picture. So that career may still be serving you, but you have to look at all the other stuff. So again, I've been getting a big push to talk to you about your career, to look at it. Is it serving you? If it's not serving you, why? It doesn't necessarily mean the career has to go, but certain parts of the career have to go. And this is all about fulfillment, because you will not have fulfillment if you're doing something you don't love. You will not have fulfillment if you're not following your purpose. And this is the biggest shifts. And I know I teach this all the time, especially in the Heal Your Chakras intensive. If you haven't gone to it yet, is Spirit gives a little tap. Hey, something needs to change. Oh, first a little whisper. If we don't hear it, then a little tap. And then eventually, Spirit, Universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to knock you on your ass, because there's changes that need to be made. So that is everything. Yes, that is everything. I'm not feeling anything else. If you have any questions or want to hop in and ask any questions, I'll give it a second. But I am also in Beaver Creek. I just got in Beaver Creek with my family, so I'm excited to go visit them. And I did give you everything that I got to give you. So I am still happy I got to jump on here during all of this, because I do love this too. Okay, I will, a couple things. Reminder, Heal Your Chakras Intensive will be in a few weeks. I will be posting that either this week or next week for the exact dates of it, okay? So if you haven't been able to jump on the other two intensives, or you want to come back, because you always get more. You get more practice and you get more information each time you come. So if you want to jump on that, that's going to be coming in a few weeks. If you have not if you have not received a message from me in your DM, then go to your three dots on the right of your inbox, your Facebook Messenger inbox, and then see if there's a DM from me in there, and check that out. Or from Kelsey Elizabeth, who is my assistant in the group, and she will be hopping on soon to let everybody know, just to say hi and all of that. I've already introduced her, but I'm super excited to have her. So I believe this is everything, guys, and thank you for joining. Again, if you have any questions, pop them in below, and I will talk to everybody soon. Have an amazing, today's Tuesday, so have an amazing Mardi Gras if you're in the South, and if you're not, have an amazing Mardi Gras anyway. All right, it's very awesome talking to everybody.